Hello stars, this is Luminousz Ztarr. Welcome to the channel. All of my current subscribers, thank you guys and gals so much for being my stars, and thank you for motivating me as well as inspiring me to keep Luminousz Ztarr channel active. If this is your first time visiting, welcome to Luminousz Ztarr, and I certainly hope that you become a part of our star family. Check the description box below for all the details to today's video, and don't forget to click the notification bell once you hit subscribe. Today's video, we're going to be talking about the mindfulness kit when the narcissist pulls shenanigans. Okay, sometimes the narcissist and the cluster personality, they start pulling shenanigans that work our last nerves. So right? When the narcissist starts to pull shenanigans that really get those unpleasant emotions such as sadness and anger to come up, okay, because this is something that's usually the case when narcissists and cluster personality start pulling shenanigans. You feel a certain way when the narcissist and cluster personality starts pulling shenanigans. Anger and sadness are two of the main emotions, I say, that's usually felt when narcissists pull shenanigans. Okay, so the mindfulness kit, we're going to be talking about the contents of your mindfulness kit, and we're going to be talking about what mindfulness is. Okay, there's a few things that I have in my mindfulness kit, right? Such as my little rubber ball here. Sometimes what I do is I will go ahead and I will throw this against the wall, especially when I'm feeling a little bit irritated by something the narcissist has said or done. Okay, so also we're going to be talking about distraction plans. When you have a distraction plan, this is going to help you to stay focused. Now, I know this may sound like an oxymoron, what I'm about to say, but when you have a distraction, it helps you to stay focused on thriving forward. All right, some of the contents that you may have in your mindfulness kit has something to do with the distraction plan, such as having the rubber ball, but not only that, having a rubber band, and you snap that against your wrist, just like that, right? Sometimes I do so this. While you're being distracted from the stressors caused by the narcissist pulling shenanigans, you're also focusing, and I'll get deeper into that and how that works later in the video. Now I'm going to go over with you some of the things that I have in my mindfulness kit. Now I explained the rubber band as well as the rubber ball, right? But another thing I have is my narcissist repellent. Okay, we talked about that. The narcissist repellent. All right, now what does the narcissist repellent consist of? It consists of practicing self-preservation, practicing personal boundaries, emotional discipline, and assertion. Okay, so the narcissist repellent is something that is going to keep the narcissist at bay. Will it stop them from actually attempting to get the narcissist to supply from you? No, probably not, but having that narcissist repellent is something that will keep the narcissist at bay, at least. Another thing that I have in my narcissist kit is a, just like that, like a fly swatter, just keeping those narcissists at bay, right? So we're going to also be talking about the self-regulatory processing or self-soothing. I'm also going to go over with you the mindfulness exercises. Now, I just demonstrated one for you, and that is just taking a rubber band. So another thing we're going to be talking about is the mindfulness exercises. Now, some of these things I do for myself, especially when things are just a little bit stressful, when the narcissist or cluster personality starts to say and do things that really bring up anger or sadness. So when that happens, I take my little mindfulness kit and I start looking for things such as a good book to read. Now, sometimes I eat chocolate, but sometimes if I don't have any chocolate, I'll read about it. So just basically having a good book to read. This distracts you from some of the things that are going on instead of becoming reactionary. Okay, so the mindfulness is to help you from becoming reactionary. When the narcissist starts to pull shenanigans, sometimes they want you to become reactionary. This way they tap into your energy field and they can feed from it. Now, this does not mean that you're supposed to walk around and be emotionless. No, this is actually quite to the contrary. When you start to feel certain emotions, your mindfulness kit can save the day. Another thing that I like to have in my mindfulness kit are my oils, okay? I love lavender. This is my lavender oil. And I also have other types of oils, such as peppermint, and all types of essential oils. Now, this also helps me when I start to practice mindfulness exercises. So during the mindfulness exercises, Another thing that you're going to be doing is you're going to be engaging in all 5 senses: smell, touch, taste, sight, and hearing. This is something that's going to help you practice self-regulatory processing. You know, sometimes you may not even want to look at the narcissist. You can pop your shades out, okay? You can put your shades on and be like, I don't even see you right now. And you can have your little diva moment. You're entitled to your diva moment. Okay, so the mindfulness exercises, again, will involve the 5 senses. And this is when you're going to practice self-regulatory processing and self-soothing. And as I stated before, you know, you can have something like the rubber band or the rubber ball to bounce against the wall, or to, you know, just squeeze that rubber ball. But if you don't want to do that, you can use essential oils. This is what I have. I have lavender, peppermint, vanilla, you know, all these types of essential oils can just soothe the senses. One of the 5 senses is smell, right? So when you take in or you breathe in the essential oils, sometimes you may calm down. This will help you to calm down when the narcissist is working on your last nerve by pulling shenanigans. So one of the 5 senses is sight. So even if you really don't even want to look at the narcissist, and you know, you're like, okay, I'm having my diva moment right now and I'm entitled because you're saying things that I really don't want to hear. And not only that, I don't want to see you right now. Because sometimes we have those moments when we're dealing with the narcissist and cluster personality. Okay, so these are just a few things we're going to be talking about in the video. Please mind the description box below. And don't forget to like and or share today's video. All that, let's get on with the rest of the video. Use your mindfulness kit when the narcissist begins to pull shenanigans. All right, topics of discussion. What is mindfulness? The contents of your mindfulness kit. Your support base instructs you on how to use your mindfulness kit. The importance of keeping your mindfulness kit stocked. The last topic are the tools, references, and resources of which you can find in the description box below. First point, mindfulness is when one intentionally pays attention to the present moment without judging what he or she is feeling and or thinking in that present moment. One of the things mindfulness can do is to help one from giving in to the urge to become reactionary when triggered by people, places, and things. Next point. Having a distraction plan can help you to practice self-regulatory processing, especially if you should become emotional due to being triggered by the narcissist and or cluster personality pulling shenanigans. Self-soothing or self-regulation involves all 5 senses, such as sound, smell, touch, sight, and taste. Mindfulness kit. Essential oils. Narcissist repellent, which consists of assertion, emotional discipline, self-preservation, and personal boundaries. Another thing to have in your mindfulness kit is the no access card, which means that you're going to discontinue to give the narcissist access to your personal life, right? Another thing to have in your mindfulness kit are positive forms of music, film, books, and art. All right, the next thing to have in the mindfulness kit is the rubber ball, a rubber band, a pillow, and or blanket, or anything that brings you some comfort to the touch, right? This is where the touch part comes in from the 5 senses. You can have scented candles, you can have chocolate, gum, popcorn, water, tea, or any food that is fairly healthy and places a smile on your face. Now, personally, I love dark chocolate. Okay, now this is something that, we're going back to the taste. This is something that's very pleasurable to me when it comes to the taste. And you can have gum. Sometimes just chewing on something to distract you a little bit is a good idea to have in your mindfulness kit. So you can eat and or drink something that's fairly healthy for you, yet it's something that puts a smile on your face. It just lifts up your spirit. Some people are emotional eaters. This is not what I'm talking about here. because the things listed here are fairly healthy for you. Some people, they swing in the other direction. They dive right into a strict diet. And I say, that's usually not a good way to go, because some people can end up suffering health issues because they were a little bit fanatical, about becoming healthy. All right, let's move forward. A great support base can help you to learn how to use your mindfulness kit, ensuring that it is very beneficial to you. More than likely, your support base is encouraging you to focus more on positive relationships with others rather than the narcissist. By having a distraction plan when narcissists pull shenanigans can prove to be a real game changer. And I'm not sharing this with you to suggest that it's easy. No, it's going to take time and it's going to take practice to do this. So what I did was mind my breathing. And the other thing that I did was I focused on something that was fairly pleasant to me, whether that was the television or, so some of us have seen movies, when the spouse is nagging the other spouse and they're just, they're staring off into the television or they're staring out the window. Actually, this works because sometimes you want to distract yourself in order to stay focused. Okay, so this takes time, it takes practice. And of course, sometimes a person is going to slip. And I'm not suggesting that you beat yourself up if you do. Practicing mindfulness, though, from my personal experience, is a game changer. What I used to do was, with practice and some patience, right? I would direct my attention elsewhere. In other words, away from the narcissist to something else that would distract me in order to keep me focused on thriving forward. Let's move forward. The unhealthy relationship with a narcissist can add on to the emotional stress one may experience, especially if one has either recently gone no contact or the relationship remains active. With memories of various tactics for source supply by the narcissist fresh in mind, one may perceive reaching out for support overwhelming. Just stress in general is probably going to be experienced. So the unhealthy relationship with the narcissist is definitely going to be a huge factor in your experiencing stress. Let's move forward. One way to incorporate mindfulness within your support base or daily life is to note when something happens, which may cause triggering. Triggers can occur as a result of sound, sight, smell, and touch that can bring back a memory of a traumatic event. So if you're triggered by something or someone, when you start to practice mindfulness, this will be a quick go-to, especially when the triggering comes on unexpectedly, which they usually do. Mindfulness is a quick go-to in order to self-regulate on the spot, in the moment, or in the heat of the moment. We can't change other people. And in life, yes, stuff happens. So if you're triggered by the narcissist or anyone else, practicing mindfulness can help you to self-regulate at that moment. See, it may sound like it wouldn't be effective. If you just try it, you may find it to be a game changer. So one way to incorporate mindfulness within your support base or your daily life is to note when something happens. Okay, so when that trigger starts, you can note it in your mind when it happened. Okay, and then you can start moving from there, which we'll get into that also further in the video. If you begin to practice mindfulness, then you can calm down or you can self-regulate in the moment. That way the narcissist is left starving. Let's move forward. Traumatic events can increase as one continues to engage in an unhealthy relationship with a narcissist and or cluster personality due to his or her tactics to obtain source supply, fuel, and a strong sense of control. Pause. Most of us who have been in relationships with narcissists or cluster personalities, we have come to know through trial and error that the narcissist does not know how to quit when it comes to trying to obtain source supply. they will stop at nothing. He or she seems to have that one-track mind. That is to obtain the source supply, no matter what, by any means necessary. So traumatic events can increase for as long as you are involved with a narcissist and a cluster personality, because he or she, again, they don't seem to know how to quit when it comes to trying to obtain source supply. So with all of the shenanigans and all the tactics for source supply, all right, the narcissists, they don't know how to stop. So when a person is experiencing this, there's going to be traumatic events. So I would suggest never underestimating how far the narcissist and the cluster personality will go for source supply. So this means, again, traumatic events can increase over some time. Don't be surprised if there's a lot of triggers that may be experienced. Panic attacks can also be experienced. Okay, so let's move on. All right, what I want to go over now is steps to practicing mindfulness. Making a note of when the event took place, right on cue, right in the heat of the moment. Because you may not have time to go somewhere and start writing in your journal. That's in the heat of the moment. Okay, the narcissist may come in and they may go in on you at that point. So making a mental note of when the event took place. Another step, note what actions were taken. Not necessarily what the narcissist did. What are you doing? And what did you do? So make a mental note of that. Again, this is right in the middle of the chaos. This is when everything is happening. You don't have time to retreat and go somewhere and start journaling or calming yourself down. No, you have to try to self-regulate right then. So these are the steps right here that you can do right in that moment. The narcissist will not even know you're doing it. Next step, note what emotions were experienced. Okay, so what are the emotions that you were experiencing at the moment? Anger? That's probably going to be one of them right there. If the narcissist is going in on you with the insults, okay? Never being satisfied with anything, just nitpicking and so on and so forth. Know what you are feeling at that moment. You have to practice. Well, you don't have to, but this is something that I found to be very helpful. Go within yourself and become more mindful. See, that's what mindfulness is, becoming more attuned with yourself. What's going on with you? So, note what emotions were experienced at the time. So, don't try to pay too much attention to the narcissist. And yes, this is a challenge. I'm not going to even sugarcoat this. Right in the middle of everything, it is going to be challenging. It's going to be difficult to do certain things, but with some practice, you can become better at it. So note what you are feeling at the moment. Anger, like I said, is going to probably be one of them. You're probably going to be pissed off. Are you hurting? Okay, do you feel sad? Do you feel disappointed? What's going on? Make a mental note of it, so later you can journal it, or later you can talk to somebody about it. Self-regulation and knowing what's going on with you. That's really what mindfulness is about. Any external things, okay, that's going on, we want to turn the dial down on that a little bit and turn the dial up on what's going on with us so we can self-regulate effectively. Last step, becoming more conscious of thoughts. Okay, so what are the thoughts going on in your head? Do you feel like cursing the narcissist out? I'm talking about right in the heat of the moment, when everything seems to be chaotic. This is when mindfulness comes into play and can be very much the game changer. This will also help one to become responsive instead of reactionary, because the narcissist is waiting for you to explode and become reactionary. So instead of becoming reactionary, when you practice mindfulness, it will help you to become more responsive rather than reactionary. So becoming more conscious of your thoughts is one step. What are you thinking at the moment? I mean, again, if you're angry, You're probably thinking about defending yourself. That's natural. That's understandable. Because if the narcissist is going in on you, you know, nitpicking and whatever else he or she may be doing to obtain source supply, and again, to get you to become reactionary, it's not going to be very easy for you to become conscious of your own thoughts. So becoming more conscious of your thoughts is very powerful. Again, it will not be easy, but with practice, it can be done. He or she may be saying something like, your outfit looks terrible, or your hair doesn't look good, or your perfume stinks, or whatever he or she may be saying in that moment to get you to be reactionary. Remember, when the cluster personality and the narcissist is speaking, more than likely they are lying. Remember, he or she is being deceptive, or they're lying when they're talking. So while they are telling you that your hair doesn't look right, or your perfume stinks, or your outfit sucks, whatever, just say to yourself, they're lying. Their lips are moving. They're lying. So this is one way to practice mindfulness. And this is another way to make sure that you don't become reactionary. I'm not suggesting that you stand there or sit there and not say anything. But if that's what you choose to do, that is still okay. However, just make sure that if you are being silent, you are doing it from a place of power, not fear. In other words, you're not being quiet because you are afraid. Now, the circumstances may be, it may be better for you to be quiet because this person may be prone to violence. So safety first, okay? I'm going to advocate that. Safety first. So, again, remember, practicing mindfulness can be a game changer. Just try it. How effective are mindfulness practices when triggered? Okay, so this is what we really want to know. How effective is this mindfulness stuff, right?
Distraction plan. Get physical by taking a walk. Clean out your closet or desk. Go out for a walk. Take a drive or engage in a positive activity to help you to self-regulate. Snap a rubber band on wrist or squeeze rubber ball. Listen to music. Watch a comedy. Read comic books, etc. Call someone that you trust who will listen without judging you. Focus on a spot in the room like a picture, plants, or outside of a window. Become mindful of your breathing as you attempt to take notice of how the floor or ground feels under your feet, how the chair or sofa feels under you, etc. Find a location at home or outside of home that is like a refuge for you to help you to self-soothe. Okay, so these are just a few things that you can do as a distraction plan. Now, this is going to take time. It's going to take some practice. So don't beat yourself up if you don't get it perfectly the first time. This distraction plan is not for a perfectionist, okay? I'm here to tell you. This is something that I currently do when necessary, okay? Now, I used to have to do this more in the past when I had more dysfunctional relationships with cluster personality types, right? But now I don't have to do this as often. The distraction plan also helps me not to just give my personal power away. The distraction plan also helps me not to waste time, not to waste energy on investing in dysfunctional relationships with cluster personality types and narcissists. When the narcissist or cluster personality begins to pull shenanigans, one of his or her main goals are to obtain narcissistic supply by influencing you to become reactionary. With patience, you can practice self-regulatory processing by using distraction. Focusing on how the ground, floor, and chair feels underneath you keeps you in the present, using your personal power to deal with reality. Okay, so this is one way to make sure that when you're triggered, you're not allowing your emotions to get the better of you, okay? It helped me to maintain personal power. by saying, okay, whatever's going on right now, I'm going to be okay. Now, in the heat of the moment, that can be kind of tough. Practicing mindfulness and practicing self-regulatory processing helps a person to be able to handle what's going on. Should he or she become triggered, they're still able to get through it. Even though they're challenged, they're not allowing their emotions to get the better of them. So using your personal power to choose to redirect or to distract yourself from what's not pleasant to something that is pleasant is a game changer, because we cannot stop things from happening. We cannot control everyone. We cannot change everyone. However, in the midst of all of that, we can learn how to control ourselves. We can learn how to accept that we're changing. This is what mindfulness and practicing self-regulatory processing is all about. Soothing the self, calming yourself down, being able to self-regulate. Emotional regulation is something that narcissists and cluster personalities are not good at. When you learn how to regulate yourself, in other words, calm yourself down when you're triggered, it is very powerful. It is game over for them, and it is a game changer for you.
For me, self-regulatory processing has been proven to be a game changer in my thriving forward and also working my support base. Absolutely. Self-regulatory processing, again, has been a game changer for me. Hopefully you will find that to be the same for you. There are key components to self-regulatory processing. But before I get to the key components, I want to tell you a little bit about what self-regulatory processing is. And I want to encourage you to do your research on self-processing. Occurs when we are faced with a challenge that may be very stressful, may be very traumatic. In other words, we can be triggered by the event. We can be triggered when we notice that we feel certain body sensations, when we think certain thoughts, when there's certain emotions that pop up, as if we are in that traumatic event once again. So, self-regulatory processing comes in when we learn how to process stress that works for us rather than against us. Because let's face it, life will happen. We cannot run away from the challenges of life, even though some people have attempted to do so, only to find that it's not very productive to do that. We cannot run away from ourselves. We cannot run away from the life challenges or the challenges of life. Can't do it, even though some have tried, only to find that it was very much a mistake. Alright, or I can put it like this. Basically, it can cause more challenges to occur than not. Having a strong sense of self. More than likely, a person who has a strong sense of his or herself is not going to have an issue with practicing self-preservation. Self-preservation is when a person is taking care of his or herself. They tend not to place other people, especially the narcissist or someone who's abusive towards them, before him or her. Key component number 1, have a strong sense of yourself. Key component number 2, trust yourself. Key component number 3, respect yourself. Key component number 4, practice self-discipline. Key component number 5, have a positive self-image. Key component number 6, let go of constantly trying to be in control of everyone and everything.
Tool number 1, take steps to face the reality by accepting that you are probably outgrowing the dysfunctional relationship with the narcissist or cluster personality. Usually when changes occur in life, emotional stress, additional challenges, and anxiety can take place. One of the best things to do is to demonstrate your growth during those challenging times. Okay, so, accepting that you are outgrowing the dysfunctional relationship more than likely is going to be a real game changer, because simply by demonstrating your personal growth, you're letting go and you are thriving forward. You're letting go of the dysfunctional relationship with the narcissist and narcissistic personality. And you are now directing your attention to thriving forward and living your life as you see fit. You're healing. You're growing. This is what your attention is on, and that's a good thing. So by taking the steps to face the reality that you are changing and that you are outgrowing the dysfunctional relationship with the narcissist and narcissistic personality, 9 times out of 10 chances this is going to be a game changer for you and a game over for him or her. Take the rose-colored glasses off and face the reality that more than likely it's time to accept that you have outgrown the dysfunctional relationship with the narcissist and narcissistic personality, which is actually why you're very uncomfortable around him or her. Sometimes you may notice that whenever they come into the room, you're tense. You may be filled with anxiety, maybe even fear. These are signals that you are outgrowing the dysfunctional relationship with him or her or them. Let's move forward. Exercise tools to reduce stress by balancing authenticity with positivity. When the narcissist or cluster personality pulls shenanigans, unpleasant emotions such as anger can naturally occur. Forcing yourself to be positive instead of constructively expressing what you are experiencing can increase stress. I made this mistake several times, and that is forcing myself to be positive when I really wasn't feeling very positive. Let me explain. Right in the middle of all the shenanigans, there were times that I felt frustrated. I felt sad and angry. There were moments of confusion. I was in the sunken place. And I have to tell you, I wasn't feeling so positive during those moments. So instead of forcing myself to feel positive, what did I do? I balanced authenticity with being positive. Now, where does the positivity come in? That's when I was working my support base. I was going to counseling. I was going to support groups at that time. That's what helped me to realize, oh, okay, that is positive. I'm doing something positive in my life. Even though at this moment, I felt pissed off. I felt angry, maybe even afraid. So you can feel the unpleasant emotions without forcing yourself to be positive. At the same time, making a mental note of what you are doing that is positive, such as going to a counselor, going to a life coach, going to support groups, reading books on the subject of narcissistic abuse and cluster personalities. See, you are doing a lot of things right now that are very positive, that is helping you right now, even though you may feel some unpleasant emotions such as anger or sadness when the narcissist pulls shenanigans. So this is where the balance comes in. Balancing authenticity with positivity. You're using your support base to express what you're experiencing. So you have your support base to express that in a constructive manner, even though at the moment you feel those unpleasant emotions and you're choosing not to become reactionary. That is a way of balancing authenticity with positivity rather than forcing yourself to be positive, which actually can increase stress. Let's move forward. Consider incorporating mindfulness exercises into your support base, which provides you the healthy outlet necessary to thrive forward, heal, and grow past narcissistic abuse. And I wish all of my stars especially the best on this one. I've been working my support base for a few years now, and I'm here to tell you, I don't make that same mistake anymore. When I feel unpleasant emotions, I express it. I express it, though, in a constructive manner, in a safe environment, whether that is with a trusted friend, a family member, or someone that I have within my circles of that support base. Okay? The counselor, the life coach, the mentor. So I wanted to take just a few moments out and tell you all, especially my stars, that when you feel those unpleasant emotions, this is nothing to fear. So during those moments, try not to beat yourself up. Try not to drown in the sunken place. Try not to believe what the narcissist is saying, because the narcissist is there to put you down no matter what, right? They will say things that are very negative, and that's the last thing you need, especially when you're feeling down and out. So I'm just here to let you know, especially my stars, that by working these tools and working your support base and incorporating the mindfulness exercises along with your distraction plan, this is going to help you to stay focused even more on moving forward. And of course, I wish everyone the very best on this. References and resources. You can find the references and resources in the description box below. I'm Luminousz Ztarr. I want to thank everybody for joining me today and tonight. And wherever you are right now, I wish you the very best. Stay tuned for more vlogs and stay tuned for more videos.